Hello and welcome to a scene at the Verbena Chantry, where Alicia is making a fry-up and Tom Dooley has been lured by the smell of it towards the kitchen.
Mm. Oh my god. Oh, that smells so good. And and you see a bandage over over Tom's right shoulder, I think it was. He's got like this big um he's clearly covering up what looks like a gunshot wound. Or the end of a gunshot wound kind of a thing.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I just met the wrong end of a shotgun. That's all. It's mostly gone. I healed it up. I just figured, if anyone who who knows that I've been out sick for a couple of weeks saw me without some kind of a something, they'd probably get all nervous or something. I don't know.
I don't know. You could have gone with mono or something. Or shingles.
Oh God, no. No, I wouldn't even wish that on my worst enemy. My dad had that once.
No, I mean you could have told them you had it.
Yeah. Well, actually, in my dad's case, the guy pretty much deserves it. So, but
Do you want some pancakes?
I would love some pancakes. And and Tom sits down very happily at the table.
You will probably notice that she is making a lot more than you probably might expect one person to eat.
Are we having a party?
Uh, no, I just tend to eat more. Since,
Okay. Well, that's fine. I
I
would.
mean, I was never one of those salad people to begin with, so
Oh, I I would never have thought anything. I would just imagine that with certain things being what they are, you probably have an increased metabolism, and you probably do a lot. So,
yeah, yeah,
ex-
I figure it's probably something like that. I
so
don't
I
seem to
mean,
have balloons, so I just eat what I want.
um,
Although I am a little bit worried about that.
you are?
No, 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 not about the eating what I want thing. More that well, I don't know what we're supposed to do about sorting out the food bills and food shoppings and stuff.
Um,
Although, to be fair, pancakes do tend to be quite cheap, and a little bit of bacon goes a long way.
yeah, yeah. Well, that definitely helps. I'm I know a bit of hunting, but so I mean, we could hunt if you want. I mean, I mean, I'm all for being closer to the land and whatnot. Um, there's fruit in the barn. We could.
Yep, there's lots of fruit, and there's lots of wildlife, but vegetables and grains and like
As I
flour and eggs and stuff. We might need to work on that.
as I recall, the former owner of the place had a garden, so we could just keep up the garden. Um, maybe exchange the flowers for various types of vegetables or something if they're not there. Um,
Yeah, I mean, there's bound to be a farmer's market around here somewhere. It's just a case of
Oh yeah.
finding it and making sure that we take the stuff that we can sell there, and then buy stuff that we don't get from there. And ooh, maybe we could put in some beehives.
I would love some actual, like, straight from the hive honey. Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would, and um, beehives can function as a form of protection.
Good point, because usually no one likes getting stung.
Precisely. I mean, I don't know how well it will work um, here, but I know that they found that a line of beehives was significantly more effective than an electric fence in keeping elephants out of vegetable fields in Africa.
Oh, well, I'm I must have missed that somewhere. That's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's strange the random stuff you find on Animal Planet sometimes.
Wow, that is just wow. Who knew? And Tom actually thinks about that for a minute. You know, I've been doing some thinking about the whole security thing, and he eats very happily at the delicious breakfast.
Nom 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 nom.
um, though he doesn't talk with his mouth full. I'm just putting that out there.
Yep, we
You
can
know,
assume they both take time to eat between talking.
fair enough. Um, you know, Tom says as he reaches for a few more pancakes. Um, if you had some contacts or some friends or something, we could hire some external security for a bit, just to sort of tighten tighten up the opening, so to speak. Um, my magic is somewhat limited at the moment. I can summon a few spirits. Speaking of which, I made a deal with a sleep spirit.
Oh, what was the deal?
Oh, out of out of character, Shin and I have to work that out at some point when I come back. Um,
Actually, if you don't want to go with your character studying for a week, what you could do is say that he needs to sleep 23 hours a day for a week for the
um,
sleep spirit. But that's up to you guys.
um, well, actually, the studying for the bar exam works because it it's a rather integral part of the character's development,
Okay.
so it sort of makes sense. Although that's a wonderful idea for when I come back. It'd be so funny if like Tom could only work for like an hour a day and then he had to like nap or something.
Yep, you
I
must have a nap.
I I hope Shin sees this. I think he'd get a hoot out of that idea. But moving on. Um, we've yet to work that out yet. But she's here and she's more than happy to help us.
Well, that's good.
So what I've set up is basically if she gets the impression that someone is hostile or intending to do hostile things, she will put them to sleep and then we can handle them in a quiet, hopefully non overly brutal fashion or
That
something.
works.
Yeah, well, it's the it's the best I could do at the time. I'm sorry. I'm I'm
No,
not.
no, no, that sounds wonderful. If she can do this, then no, that sounds ideal because if they're asleep, it gives us time to find them and decide what to do with them. And if we have to tie them up and then take them someplace else because they'll wake up as soon as they're out of here,
Or
then
stake them, or whatever you have to do.
okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, if someone is attacking, I mean, chances are good they'll probably be supernaturals themselves.
Yep.
So, best to be prepared for all possibilities. But
Yeah. We might have to, depending on who they are, we might have to do something more drastic. But
understandable.
but um, Creaky has agreed to teach me sense worm, so we should be able to tell how evil they are. Whether
Ooh.
whether they're actually evil, um, or whether they're more likely to just simply be
Um, being used or something.
yeah, or just simply grumpy. I
Yeah, that's
mean,
a.
I mean, if say I accidentally insulted someone and they came here planning to yell at me, or given that some of my people can be a bit physical, they might come here planning to smack me around a bit, but not actually attacking. She might get the wrong end of the stick.
Oh, goodness gracious. Mm, um, I do hope you won't take this the wrong way. I have no doubt that you can protect yourself, but please don't let them think that if they hurt you in front of me, I won't do anything about it. I can't stand um that sort of thing. I've had to live with it in my life, and I I can't abide assault and whatnot.
I very much agree with you on this one. Sometimes people's tempers get the better of them. Sometimes people are just assholes. Why
That,
do you think I've been spending so much time out here lately?
because you enjoy the scenery and the company,
That too.
and 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 Tom will give Alicia a very friendly smile.
Don't get me wrong. There's plenty of great things about the set, but there are some people that are less than friendly with me lately.
How how is that even possible? Um, uh, if
There's been
you
a lot of rumors going around.
well, if you don't mind my saying so, you're a real sweetheart. I mean, you're quite possibly one of the nicest people I've ever met. And yeah, I just can't fathom why anyone would not like you.
Thank you. Um, there's two reasons really. One, I hang out with mages,
Ouch.
which some people are not huge fans of.
Ouch.
I mean, there are a lot of people that are fairly judgmental,
Ugh,
which leads me to my second point.
okay.
Quite a few people don't like nice. They think they think that it means that you're weak.
Don't you hate that?
I know.
And or like the the idea of being reasonable is like it means you're stupid or something.
I
Like,
know.
like
I mean, I'm not going to go into details because various different werewolf
say
stuff.
no more. Say no
But
more.
one of the things that I'm associated with is associated with peace and compassion and kindness and being nice. So everyone assumes that I'm weak. I'm a girl, and there's a lot of assholes and hardly any
Oh,
women in the set.
oh,
And
for goodness sake.
and the other thing that specifically werewolf that I am is associated with being reasonable and looking at both sides of things.
You're a peacemaker.
Yeah. So
That's
I'm pretty much doomed.
oh, don't say that. Gee.
No, it just means that popularity is not my thing.
Well, if I'll tell you what, because
At one
I
point, I, honest to goodness, had someone's grandma poking me in the chest with their cane
what
repeatedly
why?
to try and get me angry enough to attack them.
What in the blue hell? I'm sorry. I mean no offense, but what in the blue hell?
I know! It's madness sometimes. It is really madness.
like like I'm so glad I met you. I'm so glad that I'm not the only, you know, one that tries to make friends with mostly everybody.
I mean, I avoid the changelings, but,
I've met some. They're not too bad.
well, so far I've only met the one, and she dragged me off to this strange, weird orgy party with no warning,
Oh dear, I'm so
and
sorry.
my memories were kind of fuzzy,
Oh dear,
and
I'm
it's
so
just,
sorry.
uh, yeah. And um, other than that, there was one linked to a Bane that was possessing a baby. Oh, sorry, that was retconned to be a different age grouped patient.
I'm yeah.
Yeah,
I figured.
yep.
But
No, that was retconned. There was one that was involved with possessing someone.
oh goodness.
Um, I mean, there's not enough evidence to know that he definitely did it, but considering all of the Bane's former hosts except for him were dead, which suggests that usually the person dies before it moves on, and he wasn't dead, and it was now in a different person's body, and there was a symbol in the lip that kind of suggested they'd been kind of prepared for it. Uh, yeah.
Well, the the two
And
guys
they
that
cursed Travis, and then blessed him, which was worse than the curse.
wait. How can the who's okay? I'm I'm gonna rewind the conversation a bit. Okay. Now I'll come back to my changeling experience after. But who's Travis?
Oh, he's one of my friends.
Okay. So how, and then the second question, or I guess technically the second and third question is, how can a curse be better than a blessing?
Well,
It doesn't work.
first he was cursed so that he couldn't access a whole bunch of stuff and basically took away a bunch of his abilities. And then They counteracted it with a blessing, but they went severely overboard, and he started getting chased by women and that wanted to sleep with him, and seeing things that seeing all sorts of stuff that he shouldn't have been seeing, and not having any control over it. And yeah, it just seemed worse than the curse. It's all sorted out
Um,
now, but changelings are not my favorite kind of people.
no, I can see why you would feel that way. Absolutely. Um, but like, um, you you promise you won't laugh.
Okay.
You know, there's a part of me that just does find that little blessing part funny. Um, but you know, at the same time, as one who has never experienced having someone special in their life, um, other than my grandfather, but anyway, um, um, yeah, a part of me is kind of being somewhat cynical and saying, "Oh boy, that sounds like such a terrible curse," but
Well, the thing is,
or I mean a terrible blessing.
yeah, well, the
But
thing is, it's all very well, but if you think about it, you
the
actually
idea,
think about it, they don't have the choice. So it's not really
yeah,
consensual.
yeah, it kind of ruins anything, because
Precisely.
if it's not consensual, it's not real. Uh,
Well, it can be real, but in a very bad way.
well, but yeah, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It doesn't like it just ruins lives. It doesn't create anything meaningful.
Yes.
Sigh. Uh, um, I'm sorry for your friend. That sucks. Although my friends aren't so bad. I haven't seen them for a while though. Um, one guy's name is Rick, and the other guy's name is Nathan. I think he's a knight or something. I don't remember.
Um, I've never heard of Rick, but Nathan was the one associated with the Bane.
And at that point, Tom is actually going to take a sip of his, or I guess just as she was saying that, he was taking a sip of his coffee, and you actually see him go.
Like I said, we don't have any evidence that he did it, but he was linked to it as a former host, and he's still alive.
What? What? No, no, because Nathan came here to help Alex one time. I mean, he helped us fight the thing. My God, are you sure? And and Tom just looks stunned and just like, what?
Like I said, I'm not sure, but the evidence points that way.
Oh my,
It might not be, but that's where it was pointing.
oh my God. Where the hell was I? Why wasn't I told? I'm sorry. I'm sorry I wasn't here to help.
Well, it was when I first came here. Alex had been attacked by a Bane spirit um, that had shot him through the gauntlet.
Yeah, and that's about the time that I went into the portal to try and get him some help.
Well, I came here and I cleansed him, and then Jericho could heal him because he couldn't heal him before because the energy was still in him. So we had to get rid of that before he could be healed properly.
I recall that. You told me about that the first day we met.
And then we went to track, we looked into where the Bane had come from. And the mages did something that showed them it involved a butterfly fae of some kind. I don't really understand what the mages did, but they found its previous hosts,
Oh, goodness.
and they found out that all but one of them was dead. And then we had to try and get everything together for a tracking spout, which took some time. By the time we tracked it back to where it had gone, after having, fought it and then it escaped in significantly weakened form. Anyway, we tracked it to the hospital where it was in
Right.
someone new.
Oh,
We had to
God.
exorcise them, which is a very drawn out, painful process.
Yeah, I would imagine so. That I'm having an evil entity. Yeah, jeez. Why didn't Alex ever tell me these things? God damn it! I was.
Well, like I said, it just seems like the evidence points that way.
Yeah, that's having heard you explain everything. That's certainly a case, all right.
And and we did destroy the Bane, so
Thank God. Thank the gods that thing is gone. I'll tell you what. I'll be right back. Um, if you wouldn't mind, could I have a couple of those sausages?
oh, definitely. Help yourself.
Thank you. And I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go get the mail.
Okay.
And Tom will shoot out and go up the driveway as fast as he can in his sports chair. And he'll he'll come back and sit down and Bill, this one's for Connor. Bill, and Tom's face will go as white as a sheet. Uh, uh, opens the envelope. Oh my God!
Something wrong?
Alicia, look at this. and he'll hand you the the letter, and it actually has the state letterhead of the state of New York, and it's a notification that signifies that you've been accepted to take the state exam for the bar, and that you have like a week to prepare, and you are expected to uh, appear at said address um at such and such a time.
Well, that's good. And
Good.
then, is that kind of like the end of your studying, and then you go to be a lawyer or something? I don't really understand it.
And Tom just kind of blinks for a second. Yeah. If I pass, I become a fully accredited lawyer for the state of New York, and I can actually start my practice,
Nice.
or go to work for a practice, depending on how I wanted to do it. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Tom's hand just looks like it's shaking.
Well, good luck. And do you know which kind of a practice you want to go for?
Well, as a as a lawyer, I'd like to be able to do a few different things, but I think, especially given our new situation and our new friendship, and he'll kind of toast you with his coffee. Um, I feel like focusing on environmental law might be the way to go,
It does seem like a good plan.
because I figure, okay, I I have a I have a thought. Um, remember the other day when you and I were talking? Um, Now just out of character, when you told me that the Chantry cairn was next door to a sanctuary, was that after the scene or during the scene?
I think that was after the scene.
Okay, so I'll just adjust what I was about to say. Um, you know there's an environmental sanctuary just a little bit down the way there, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I was sort of pondering is, if I went to them and did most of my state mandatory pro bono work for them, that could get us contacts there. And if we were to integrate ourselves as a group into that shelter, that would provide us with a bunch of different opportunities. Um, and if we built up the interest of it as a place for people to come and really experience nature, um, we could effectively create a very interesting security network while building connections through the different facets of the conservation community and whatnot.
Excellent. Well, I don't really know much about the legal side of these things, but I've been working on a park for years, so if they have a job going there, I'm pretty sure I can kind of keep things under control.
See, because imagine this for a minute. If each of us, or at least a good chunk of us, jo- were to get jobs there, or in in my case, I could do a lot of my state pro bono work for them, as an offer to build my own connections with them. Um, as I might get called in for other cases. Um,
I'd suggest also keeping your eyes out for any of the zoos that might be asking for help. If you don't mind. I mean, if you've got time left over.
I'll look into that.
Because admittedly up the road is probably the best place, but if you've got other time and there's people that need it, um, if you can get in good with some of the zoos, then it makes it so much easier for people to keep an eye on the animals that live there, if you see
Well,
what I mean.
certainly. If I were to eventually open my own practice and focus on environmental law, um, that that is something that I would get to deal with. Um,
I'd steer
however,
clear of the one in Central Park, though. That's a bit too close to home.
well, if Central Park needs an attorney for something, or let's say, for example, let's say the city wanted to rezone a portion of Central Park for some reason or other. I'm just solely as a hypothetical. They could call me in to advocate against that. That's how environmental law works. So, I mean, if I get called in to represent those that want to keep Central Park the way it is, I can't very well um I can't very well say no to my case. I mean, that's how I make my living.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying don't actively seek stuff there. I mean, if you get called up, that's your job. But if it looks like you're nosing around, that might go down slightly differently. Do you see what I mean?
Well, I've heard about the werewolves there, but I've never met them. Or, well, I guess technically I've never met them, but I would assume that
Alicia
you.
waves.
Oh, well, that kind of makes sense. Tom sort of puts on a silly grin on his face. Well, that kind of, yeah.
Let's put it this way. All of the Garu in the city are supposed to be connected to it. Not all of them are, but
Why ever
well, I say
not?
all. Most of them are supposed to be.
Hmm. I guess
Like I said, if you say that that is like a chantry, um, I don't know how mages work, but presumably most mages are connected to a chantry, and then some decide to just do their own thing.
Hmm.
And
Fair
then
enough, yes.
some are rather kind of the opposite.
I would expect that. In fact, I would almost estimate that within any supernatural community, like any other community within a country, there's good elements and bad elements, and s- somewhere in the middle elements, and
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Well, I certainly wouldn't want to cause any intentional offense, but I mean, if I should say when I pass my exams, would you mind passing on a bit of a bit of a message for me?
I can, but like I said, I'm not really the most popular person there. But
I understand. I wouldn't want you to get hurt or anything,
no, no, no.
but you know, I've met you, and I'm sure there's a few more where folk around here somewhere I haven't met yet. Um, well, and I'm sorry, I'm not usually this awkward. But I'm, I like you. You seem like a wonderful person. Um, if if there ever does come a time that some development or other is trying to you know in encroach, I certainly wouldn't mind giving a hand to try and stop it in the courts.
I don't think there's likely to be much of a problem about Central Park, but I can definitely imagine there might be with some other areas. And while they're not directly of concern, we do tend to like to keep as many green spaces as possible.
That there is something that your folk and my tradition have in common.
I thought so.
But but you know what this means, and he'll hold up the sheet the sheet of paper. It means that I have the rest of today to organize my affairs, and I will most likely have to be a hermit for about a week until the date of my exam. You have no idea how difficult the bar exam can be. It's just, and like, to emphasize the point, he'll he'll pull out an example of the bar exam that he printed off of the internet for practice. Big stack of sheets.
Well, good luck. And I will try and make sure that we keep the howling down.
You know, don't bother. I find it quite soothing, actually. It's it's rather nice. And Tom will stretch. That gives me about 8 hours approximately before I have to start practicing. thank you so much for the wonderful breakfast, Alicia. And it was very nice to be able to chat with you.
That's okay, and thank you for looking into asking the sleep spirit to help.
No problem. I I would advise you to maybe put something to a vote. Um, and in within the cairn and the chantry. What I'm proposing is, um, out of character. I don't quite remember what each dot of resources actually means. Like at the moment, Tom only has one dot of resources. So is that like $750 or something?
Something like that after living expenses, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, or maybe 1,000. I don't quite remember. But what I'll do, Alicia, and I'm just gonna go back into character, is and he'll hand you an envelope. That envelope has $300 in it. What I'm prepared to do is arrange for $300 to come into the group's possession, and I would advise for everyone to pool some of their money for like the bills or paying an external security force. Before I go to do my studying today, what I'll do is I will see about summoning a few other spirits to sort of do an external patrol. And if we were able to get some people to fill in the gaps, it should sort of sturdy things up a bit.
Okay, I think that probably it would be too expensive to hire a security force, but Keegan is here most of the time, though he has no money to put in towards bills, but he is here most of the time, which is kind of good. Um,
If
and if we go ahead with the plan to try and find a local farmers market, sell some of the produce, grow some more stuff, become a bit more off the gridish, maybe see about getting some solar panels. It's we might be able to reduce the bills quite a bit.
that would certainly help, but I, I would strongly advise trying to organize a pool
Oh,
for
definitely, definitely, that does sound like a good plan.
for group expenses and whatnot. So you go ahead and you take this, and he'll hand you that envelope again, and then that'll be my first installment. Okay?
Okay. Um, I think what I might do is try and set up a group account or something that more than one of us can access, and then we put the money in there and we buy the groceries and pay the bills out of it.
I I have a bit of an idea. Um, since I'm considered the head of the mage contingent, and you're the um, please pardon me, the alpha of of
Dogwood
the.
pack.
Thank you. Why don't we put the account in the both of our names and
That
and
sounds like a plan.
and set it up so that um each of us either needs to have the consent of the other to access those funds, or at least some kind of a written thing if if need be.
How
And
about we go with I mean, obviously at the moment the amount's going to be the amounts of money in there is going to be lower, but theoretically over time it should build up. But if we say we need both of us to, if we want to access more than £250 in a week,
That would work.
because $250, yeah, because that way either of us can still go and buy groceries or pay the bills or do any kind of normal stuff. But if it's big stuff, we'd need both of us.
That makes total sense. And actually, if you'll hand me a piece of a pen, I will jot down the name of the bank that I use, and they know me, so that that letter will just let them know that I've given you permission to open this account with me. It'll just explain that while I'm doing my studying, I can't actually be there in person, so they'll help you there if you want to go there.
Okay.
There was one other thing that I wanted to bring up before I left. Dag blasted memory. I hate cerebral palsy sometimes. Let me see. I'm just gonna do a memory check. It's on the tip of my tongue. It just um looking on the bees and whatnot. The bees are also a good idea.
Yeah, they'll probably be one of those things that takes both of us to pay for, but it's something to work towards.
Definitely. If you wanted to start the research on that, um,
Yeah, yeah. From what I hear, most of the beehives get sorted out at winter.
right.
So
Um,
that could be something to aim for next year, but definitely a plan to work on.
sure. Let me know if there's any legal procedure that has to be handled, and I can sort of look in on that part.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's it. Was there anything else you wanted to ask me about the house or anything?
Um, Not really. I mean, if we set up the account, we should be able to sort everything, right?
Sure. Sure. I think that'll work out very nicely. Um, actually, if you like, and he'll take another piece of paper from a binder, and he'll jot out a quick promissory note, um, and just ask you to sign it. And all that is you know, it expresses the plan that you, you and I have worked out, and how how we'd like it to go, and so on.
The plan being that everyone tries to put some money in, and the bank account is where we get the bills from and the groceries from, and both of us need the other's permission if we want to get more than £250 out in a given week.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So Yeah, it's all pretty much straightforward.
Okay,
All right, so I'm I have to go though. I have to
get studying.
that too, but I have to say my hellos and goodbyes before I go into seclusion again.
Okay.
Oh dear.
I will try and make sure that we have food handy and so forth.
Thank you. Oh, and there's one other thing. Um, Tom's actually going to open his hand, and a flower is, and there's a seed there, and as he opens his hand, a flower is going to pop out, and he's going to hand it to you. Please keep being yourself, and don't ever let anyone tell you you're not doing a good job.
Aw, thank you.
And on that, I think we can end our scene, and unless there's something that Alicia wants to do.
Nope. And Tom will probably find um, various snacks left outside his store on occasion throughout the week.
Awesome, he's gonna love that.
And there the scene will end.